Hello, and welcome again to I Will Break Your Game with the Talos Principle. This episode is noteworthy for a couple of reasons, but I'll get to that in a bit. We're going to start off by beginning to solve this puzzle as normal, so take the splitter and unlock this fizzler with the laser. We're going to go ahead and grab the cube here. And we're going to place it on the small step, the raised step here, but you want to offset the cube just slightly to the right, not too much, about where I've got it there. Now, if you stand roughly where I am, you'll get the jump prompt, and then you can jump off the right offset of the cube onto this wall. And the sigil's nice and easy to get. Now we're trapped, but this time they have actually conveniently put a ladder for us to get back out, so we can come around and start again. Now, because you're placing all your weight on the right hand side of the cube, it is possible that the cube actually unbalances and falls off from underneath you, so you might have to start again and try and make the jump to the wall fairly quickly. So I mentioned that this episode is noteworthy for a couple of reasons. The first one is that we've actually made quite a lot of headway in a very short space of time, and this is the last level in World A. So today we'll be tackling A7, and that is a third of the game's total content done, which I think we could agree is the first big milestone so far in this series. The other thing that makes this episode noteworthy is that I mentioned in a previous episode this isn't my first attempt at this run. In my other attempt, I got just over halfway through the game. I got about 2/3 of the way through World B. But one of the breaks on this level, out of all the ones I've done so far, is maybe the hardest, or certainly close. There's around 20 minutes of cut footage on just one of the breaks of several attempts. So if you're following these solutions and doing them yourself, this one may take you quite a while. I think it's interesting that the rocks that we're climbing on, I promise you more rock climbing this episode by the way, and here it is. I find it interesting that all these rocks actually do have collisions, because when you think back to things like trees only having collision for the first few feet, and when we've got to some out of bounds areas where the floor just doesn't have collision, I wonder why they actually opted to put collision on these rocks, and it kind of almost makes me think that this was an intended break. So that break let us get 3 sigils out of the 5 on this level. Unfortunately, the last 2 we're going to have to get with a different method. And this puzzle contains the break that I mentioned that's maybe the hardest break in the game. So far, anyway. If this rock looks familiar at all, I think this actual rock asset is the same one that we were jumping on in the last episode, and we're going to be doing something similar. What you want to do is keep attempting to jump on top of this rock. You can either get a run up or stand in front of it and just keep jumping. Eventually you should be able to actually get on top of this little shelf here. Once you manage that, and that may take a while, it certainly took me a while, you can then jump over to your left and up onto the shelf. It's another very awkward jump. Overall, this pair of jumps may give you a fair bit of trouble. As I say, it took me about 20 minutes when filming this. Next we're going to jump onto these rocks, and then onto this wall. We're going to make another jump here, but make sure you jump off the raised part of the wall, onto that amorphous blob of bricks. Then you can head onto the rocks again, and follow these all the way to the end. Be careful you don't slip out of the map here. This jump can be tricky. It's easy to get nudged off to the left or the right when landing on this wall, so be careful. And then we're going to do another sprint run all the way along a big series of fences. Try and make sure you're perfectly aligned with the wall, or you may get nudged off halfway down. Now we're going to begin the same way, by heading onto these rocks and then onto this wall. But this time we're going to turn around, and we're going to jump onto the rocks over here, and then head up. If you keep following this round, it's only a short distance to the final sigil on this level. Thank you very much for watching the final episode in World A of I Will Break Your Game. Join me next time when we take on the challenges awaiting us in the desert.
Rejoice, child, for you have fulfilled all your tasks in this land. You have conquered all its guardians and solved all its mysteries. Thus you are appointed its master, and you may do with it as you will. You have proven yourself worthy, child, and this gate shall be forever open to you. Seek now the other worlds I have given you, that you may attain even greater mastery and bring glory to your kind. But remember, you must not ascend the great tower, for it shall bring death and the end of your generations.